Dusty Williams, he's the new president of the Alstyne Cemetery Association. I met him out at the cemetery last week on a blustery day. I asked him how he spent his spring break, and he dropped some history knowledge bombs on us as well. Here's Dusty.
I was just showing Mike here some of the stones that we've repaired out here in the old section. This is the original McKinney section. And so what I've done is I've reset them in concrete. One of them was this kid. His name's William L. McKinney, and this is the young boy who, he was an orphan. His father had died in the Civil War, and his mom had died not long after, and he sold the land to the railroad that became Van Alstyne. He sold it for a $20 gold coin per acre. And when fixing his stone, you could show him back here, I put a little plaque on the back so people can know when they come out here just his significance. And he sold the land, of course, in 1872, and he actually only lives until 1877, so he didn't even get to see, he died as a teenager. Still unsure why, but he didn't quite get to see Van Alstyne become what it would become, but he's definitely the guy that started it. So all from an orphan boy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You said something's going on with the stone next to it?
So this was his mother, and her stone was in kind of the same shape. You can see kind of what they look like. The top of his was missing. Hers, this bottom piece, we didn't even know that it existed, and it has her death date on it. And as I was repairing her stone, I started probing around, and I was able to find that buried there as well. So I pulled it up and reset it completely in concrete as well. And then right behind this entire row, I've done. And actually how we did this is I ran a fundraiser several years ago, and it was called Adopt a Tombstone. And so people would come out here, and I had a list of stones that needed repair, and they would pay $20 because that's all it cost for the Sack Creek, and I made the forms. And so they would adopt a stone, and we would take that and fix the stones as we did that. So kind of a good way to get the community involved with it for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Now you told me you've assumed some leadership in.
Yeah, in February.
Can you explain that whole
Sure.
thing?
Yeah. So Van Alstyne Cemetery is ran by the association, which is a community group. And in February, I took over and became president. And so we've been trying to make some changes and get the cemetery looking good with the tree trimming and just kind of updating it aside from just fixing stones and like that, especially getting the community involved. So. Yeah, it's a start, but we're making progress.
Right, and you've been out here, every weekend for a couple months?
Yeah, well, I'm a teacher, and I spent my spring break out here, and we got a big chunk of the tree trimming done. We've still got a little bit to do, but like I said, we're making progress, and as we move forward, we'll have more of that community involvement and stuff. And speaking of, our decoration day is this year, Mother's Day weekend. It'll be that Saturday from 9 to 5. Kind of come and go. We'll have our association members at a table out front. Donations welcome, of course, to help us with the upkeep. But yeah, just trying to push that community involvement like I have it historically.
So explain Decoration Day, because I guess it is what it sounds like.
Pretty much, yeah. I come out here, we replace the flowers, do some stone cleaning if it needs it, and I'll probably be trimming some trees still because there's still a few that need to have some low hangers that need to be trimmed back. But yeah, just kind of upkeeping either your families or even like we're in the older section. These people here don't have any family that would still come out to maintain. So definitely support the help in the old section and tidying up, tree trimming, things like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And while we're here,
sure.
Collin McKinney Day is coming up too.
Collin McKinney Day is coming up in April, and there's his stone where we are, right there, right 2 rows back. Of course, if you're from Van Alstyne or been here for any length of time, you know the story. He's the oldest person to sign the Texas Declaration of Independence, and actually where we're standing before Van Alstyne, this was the McKinney family cemetery. It was just in a little field. The closest McKinney house was over there by where the tracks are, and this was a family cemetery where we're standing. And then as the railroad came through, built the town, it incorporated it. Of course, we've added several acres to the cemetery today, but this is definitely the original, and of course lots of unmarked graves in this area as well.
So what's the oldest gravestone you've seen?
The oldest gravestone, actually, if you want to walk right here, I'll show you. We're right beside it. This is Millie. Her name was Emily. And her husband was Hiram McKinney, who was a nephew of Collin McKinney, and she died in 1846. And this is the first known grave that we have. Of course, she was a McKinney. It was the McKinney family cemetery, but the first known grave. And the very next year, we had Ashley McKinney buried here, who was Collin McKinney's son. So starting right about 1845, and he's just right back there. Starting around 1845, 46 is when it was kind of established, per se. Let me throw this in there because this is kind of neat. Again, if you are from Van Alstyne or been here any amount of time, you know the story of Chief Will Echols. He was our police chief, and he was killed in 1929 in downtown Van Alstyne. And it was the largest funeral held in Van Alstyne, but it was buried in an unmarked grave. We had no idea where he was. Somebody actually came by the museum a few weeks ago that's related to him, and they had pictures of his funeral. And one of those pictures was taken here in the cemetery, and so now we know exactly where he's buried. He's buried by two of his brothers here in the McKinney section, the old section. And I'd had a stone made for him several years ago, and I just stuck it beside his parents. But now we are fixing to move it and put it in the official place. So that'll probably be something I do on Decoration Day. So it's kind of cool to have that full circle. And it's 1929 to 2026, almost 100 years without knowing where he is, and now we do. So it's pretty cool.
That's neat. And that's just people helping out.
That's absolutely. You never know. You never know.
Thank you, Dusty, for your time and your hard work keeping Van Alstyne's heritage alive.
I mean, we could spend all day out here. What else do you want to know?
We could, for sure.